Alright, so grade 11's hyperbolas are pretty cool in that they are quite a unique graph that we need to sketch. And I guess the thing I like about them is that their equation is not similar to any other equations that we do, which means that we can quite easily identify when it is a hyperbola that we need to sketch. So it says sketch the graph of y equals -4 over x plus 2. Take 1, clearly showing the intercepts with the axes and the positions of the asymptotes. Now, our form of a hyperbola is the following. Y equals a times 1 over x minus b plus c. And I've put the a to the side just so that you can actually see that the number on top of your fraction is actually going to be your dilation. Okay. Now, we know that with any of our shapes that the x minus something is always going to be our horizontal shift, and the plus c, or the one outside the x, will always be my vertical shift. Now, as with all our other graphs that we do, when it says, when we've got a positive sign, we'll be moving towards the left, and if it's a negative sign, we're moving towards the right. Okay, so what we have is we've got y equals -4, 1 over x plus 2, take 1. And we have, and you need to be careful with this, we have a horizontal asymptote and that will be based on our vertical shift. I know it feels a little bit weird, but anyway, at -1. So y equals -1. And we have a vertical asymptote. This is the only shape that we do that has the two asymptotes, and that will be at x equals -2. Okay. Now, as with all of our shapes, when our a value is negative, the shape has been reflected in our x-axis. So a is less than 0, therefore the graph is reflected in the x-axis. Alright, now we need to know some x and y intercepts. So x-intercepts when y equals 0. Okay, so we have 0 is -4 over x plus 2, take 1. Take the 1 over, so 1 is -4 over x plus 2. X plus 2 is -4, so x will be at -6. So I have an x-intercept at -6, 0. We then look for our y-intercepts when x equals 0. So then we have y is -4 over 2, take 1, and that would be at -2, take 1, which will be at -3. So I have a y-intercept at 0 and -3. Now, with this information, it's really hard to sketch this beast we call the hyperbola. Okay, what you'll see, let's put our asymptotes in. Okay, so we have a vertical asymptote. Let's start with our horizontal one. Horizontal asymptote at y equals -1. Okay. I don't know if they've given me a big enough graph, but anyway, let's try. So So we have a horizontal asymptote. Y equals -1, and we always draw our asymptotes in with dotted lines. And we label them. And we had a vertical asymptote at x equals -2. Now, let's put in our x and y intercepts. So, yeah, I thought so, -6. I'm just going to extend my line. I'll make it a black line. Okay, so there's -1, -2, 5, 6, 7. There's my x-intercept at -6, 0. And my y-intercept's at 0, -3. But this is not actually telling me anything about the shape of my hyperbola. Now, a normal hyperbola, positive one, looks like that. So one that's been reflected in my x-axis is going to look like that. And in order to get the general shape of this thing, make it look a bit better, I need another point. Okay? So I know I've got a point somewhere down at the bottom here. We know that it can't cross the asymptote. So I'm going to pick a point at x equals -3. And what that's doing is getting the y value when x equals -3. So y is -4 over -3 plus 2, take 1, and that gives me 3. So I've got a point there at 3, -3 and 3. And if I have a look, that'll give me a nice little shape. And on this one, I also probably want another point. So I'm going to pick x equals 1. Okay. Choose a value of x equals 1. So y is -4 over 1 plus 2 minus 1. And that gives me -7 on 3, which is 2 1/3. Okay, so I've got another point there at 1 and -7 on 3. Alright, let's have a look. Let's plot -3 and +3. So 1, 2, 3. Okay, well that gives me a nice shape. I might want to extend this asymptote a little bit just so that I don't go over it by mistake. Remember, our graphs don't ever cross the asymptote. And we had a point of 1 and -7 on 3, which is somewhere there. Okay, and now we've got enough information to sketch our beautiful hyperbolas. Remember, they are smooth curves, so we try our best to get through those points and not crossing our asymptotes, but going close to the asymptotes. Okay. And there's our equation of the hyperbola, and that's the equation y equals -4 over x plus 2 take 1. The expectation is that you have found x and y intercepts and at least one other point on each part of your hyperbola, and that you are labeling your asymptotes and labeling your graph.